Welcome to Conflict News 24. On a daily basis, we present updates on global conflicts. Firstly, at last, Ukraine seems to have launched a counter offensive to take back a Kherson city in southern parts of Ukraine. Since July, we have been hearing that Ukraine would launch a counter-offensive on Kherson, and an announcement was made today by Ukrainian Southern Command. We have details for you. Secondly, much awaited IAEA International Atomic Energy Agency delegation is on its way towards Zaporizhzhya nuclear power plant. Both Ukraine and Russia have been accusing each other of shelling Europe's largest nuclear power plant, Zaporizhzhya. UN Security Council sessions were held. It was decided that IAEA team should visit this plant. Will the team make it to the plant? Because it's on its way. And lastly, viewers, we have a new story from Iraq where hundreds of protesters have stormed presidential palace in green zone of Baghdad, Iraqi capital. It seems that attacks on presidential palaces are becoming a norm now. We saw an attack on presidential palace in Sri Lanka a few weeks ago. Now today in Iraq, what is happening there? Why are people angry? Why did they attack presidential palace in Baghdad, Iraqi capital, where curfew has been imposed? Firstly, viewers, Russia-Ukraine conflict. It was the 24th of February this year when Russia attacked Ukraine. Russian forces made gains in eastern and southern parts of Ukraine. Donbas region, parts of it, large parts of it are under Russian control and under Russian-backed LPR, DPR forces control. In southern Ukraine as well, Russians made gains. They managed to take control of Kherson, which was the first major city which came under Russian control a few months ago. And after that, Russians tried to move towards Mykolaiv, but they could not make considerable gains in Mykolaiv. In July, at the start of July, Ukrainian defense minister announced the launch of a counter-offensive on Kherson. But the counteroffensive was not launched. Everyone was waiting that when will Ukraine launch a counteroffensive, because we know that Russians are on the offensive in eastern southern Ukraine. Ukraine is defending. If you watch their daily briefings, you would see that Ukraine just briefs about how it is defending. And Russia briefs about how it is attacking, how it is carrying out attacks, how it is trying to advance. Now, Ukraine has decided to shift the gears. It wants to start an offensive to take back Kherson. Today, Natalia Humenoik, who is Ukrainian Southern Command military spokesperson, spoke. And she confirmed that in several directions, Ukrainian forces had launched offensives on southern front. The objective of this offensive is to liberate, to take back Kherson city. And we know that in recent weeks, Ukraine intensified its HIMARS precision strikes on the bridges which connect Kherson city with areas situated to the east and south of Dnieper River. Ukrainians have been trying to disrupt Russian supply lines. Antonivsky Bridge was targeted, Novokakhovka Bridge was targeted, A rail bridge was hit as well. So Ukraine tried to disrupt Russian supply lines, and now Ukraine has launched this major offensive on Kherson from two directions. Ukrainian forces are trying to advance towards Kherson city. So, a new and crucial phase of this conflict has started. If Ukrainian forces, backed by Europe and America, which are backing Ukraine in terms of financial aid, in terms of military assistance, if Ukrainian forces start making gains and they manage to take back Kherson, it could be a huge blow to Russian forces. So, coming days are very crucial to see how this war is going to end. Secondly, Zaporizhzhya nuclear power plant, Europe's largest nuclear power plant in Ukraine, came under Russian control in March. Since then, both countries, Ukraine and Russia, have been accusing each other that shelling is being conducted on Zaporizhzhya NPP, and that shelling could lead to a nuclear disaster like Chernobyl and other disasters which happened in the past. UN Security Council meetings were held. Last session was held a few days ago, and both countries agreed that IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency inspectors should be sent to the site, Zaporizhzhya nuclear power plant site, and the inspectors should monitor and they should assess the security situation there. And today, IAEA DG Rafael Grossi announced that its team, IAEA team, is on its way towards Zaporizhzhya nuclear power plant. Both Russia and Ukraine have confirmed that this IAEA team is on its way. Question is, will this team make it to the plant or not? Or will there be hurdles created by Ukraine and Russia to stop this IAEA team from visiting Zaporizhzhya? That remains to be seen. If you remember, when UN Security Council met a few days ago to discuss this issue, US proposed a demilitarized zone around Zaporizhzhya power plant controlled by some third party. But no consensus could be created. If IAEA inspectors visit this site, of course, they'll make some recommendations as well. Will the recommendations be taken seriously? That's another question. But at least IAEA should have access to this site. We'll update you in coming videos. Will the team make it to the site, or will hurdles be created? That remains to be seen. Thirdly, viewers, another attack on a presidential palace, this time in Iraq. Last time we saw in Sri Lanka that thousands of protesters there stormed presidential palace in Sri Lanka, and president had to flee the country. Now in Iraq, viewers, in Baghdad, Iraq's capital, hundreds of protesters stormed presidential palace in Baghdad's green zone. Police clashed with protesters. Tear gas was fired. At least one protester has been killed, several injured. You can see some pictures on your screen. Who are these protesters? Why did they attack presidential palace? These protesters are supporters of Muqtada al-Sadr. Muqtada al-Sadr is a cleric, a politician who heads a political party in Iraq. In October, election was held in Iraq. Muqtada al-Sadr party and another bloc called Coordination Framework contested election. Muqtada al-Sadr party, Muqtada al-Sadr bloc won more seats than Coordinated Framework, but a government could not be formed. rival faction is backed by Iran. Muqtada al-Sadr, who remained close to Iran in the past, is not backed by Iran. Iran has huge influence in Iraqi politics. Iran shares border with Iraq as well. And it is said that Iraqi militias, some Iraqi political parties, they are backed by Iran. And Iran is the one which dismantles governments in Iraq. It is generally said. Muqtada al-Sadr party could not form a government. Then in June, rival bloc tried to form a government and it announced the name of a president. And after that, we saw that Muqtada al-Sadr supporters, they stormed Iraqi parliament. And since then, there has been a stalemate. Stalemate since October last year, you can say, that Iraq is without government for several months now. And today, on Monday, Muqtada al-Sadr released a statement. He announced to abandon politics. He said that he was going to close all party offices in Iraq. He was saying goodbye to politics. After that, his supporters took to the streets and they attacked presidential palace in Baghdad, where curfew has been imposed now. So there is a political stalemate in Iraq. Iran-backed factions and those who are not backed by Iran, they are at loggerheads over the formation of new government. Will Muqtada al-Sadr stand by his announcement that he is quitting, that he is not going to be part of any political party, any political setup in future? That remains to be seen. Overall situation is still very tense in Baghdad, Iraqi capital. Thank you for watching.